Next up, before we go to the news, the MHA for Harbour, Grace, Portagrade, Pam Parsons is on the line. Pam Parsons, how are you?
Good morning, Daryl. How are you doing?
I feel great now with Tricia facing adversity and coming out the other side happy. I love good news stories.
You know, that lady's got a lot of courage, and I really commend her. And she's out here in my area. She's in Conception Bay North in Carbonear. And there are, I got to say, what she did say is bang on. There's a lot of support here, of course. Recently, we opened up the Grace Center in Harbour Grace, and it does just that. It helps people suffering with addictions and mental illness problems and whatnot. And you know what, that lady, she's certainly welcome to reach out to me. I've got a constituency office just not too far from where she's from, just up here in Bay Roberts.
I've heard a lot of great things about the Grace Center. It's a drop-in center, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not as long as you would go to other recovery facilities. But I hear wonderful things about it, and I know some of the staff down there personally and social workers, and my hat's off to them. They're doing a great job, and they're putting a lot of heart and soul in their work, let me tell you.
Great. What's on your mind this morning?
A few things happening, of course, as we know now. With the spring coming on, of course, the fishery season is going to be up and running very shortly, and we'll hopefully, fingers crossed, ice won't be a prevention for harvesters to get out safely and, to retrieve the species and whatnot, the crab in particular. I really want to add my voice to the recent protest that happened just a couple of weeks ago down in St. John's. I have a lot of harvesters, Daryl, from my district, Harbour Grace, Portagrade, a lot of fish harvesters and plant workers, industry workers here in my area. But I want to add my voice to that, and we should call on Ottawa and on DFO, and to allow inshore harvesters to be involved in consultations and decision making. I mean, after all, it's the harvesters who are out there on the water, in the elements, witnessing, what's happening with the species firsthand. I mean, these people have been doing this all their lives, many of them. And I really think, with the protection and in support of our coastal communities, DFO should be including the inshore harvesters in consultations and decision making.
Yeah, there's a difference between like scooting around to do a count or what have you at one time of the year as opposed to the fishermen who are on the water every day when the season's opened.
Absolutely. So these fish harvesters, these men and women, because there are women who take to the water as well, let's show them the respect they deserve. I mean, let's not forget why Newfoundland and Labrador was established in the first place, and let's keep that alive. Yes, we've got great natural resources that we have to nourish, and if we can harness, we can be a wonder. But let's not forget our fishery. It's why we came here, and I believe it's a mainstay, and it should be our natural resource. So please, Ottawa, DFO, our MPs, let's speak loud. Let's be the voice for our inshore harvesters because they're very vital to our coastal communities and our local economy.
People are asking me already, Pam, about the recreational fishery, what it's going to look like this year. Any word?
Well, no, as you know, again, that's a call by the federal government, and I'm waiting just as you and everybody else. And again, that's something, too, that, it's our heritage, that people enjoy, that it's our right to get out there, catch cod. Although, I'll tell you, I went out a couple of summers ago out here in Bay Roberts with my friend Daryl Peddle, took me out in his boat. And, I couldn't catch a cod. I got some capelin that came in on a reel and a starfish. But it must have been, I don't know, it must have been a certain time. It was in the summer when we went out. But it's a great experience. It's beautiful. And especially for those who are coming to visit. It's a great, nothing like getting out there in the morning on the bay, I tell you, with the sun shining and see the whales, too. We got a great whale show when I was out as well.
Before we go to the news, I want to talk about the trash tax, which I have sent countless hours, and Patty has spent millions of hours talking about on this program, the $180 a year. There's talk about making it optional. Some people have suggested that sounds like electioneering. What's your take on it?
Well, this is something that's been brought to my attention several years ago. It was just shortly after I became the MHA here for the area. I have a number of cabin owners. In particular, I'm speaking to the areas of the Old Track and Sutton's Pond. In particular, these particular areas are not even accessible year-round. And some of these units, some of these cottages, don't have electricity. So, I mean, they can't be compared to, say, Olivia in a different area of the province who lives there permanently. And again, they were all getting, according to the cabin owners, of course, they're getting slapped with this $180 fee. According to some of them, they've even set up their own surveillance devices or monitoring, systems. And some of them said that they're not even getting the service, and they haven't gotten the service, but yet still getting a bill.
It's a mess. It is a real mess. Look, what are the state of the land out there? Like, people are saying that, well, what people are using the cabins and the cabin areas to dump all kinds of garbage. What's it like in your district?
Well, I don't see that, and I mean the cabin owners, and I rely on them to tell me. I'm voicing their concerns. I'm their voice, their provincial voice, and like a lot of them say, what little garbage they use while they're up for the weekend. The May 24th weekend, or sometime the odd weekend throughout the summer. A lot of them tell me they take that home with them. Or a lot of it, if they're able to burn it safely in a fire, like in their campfire or whatnot, that's what happens. So again, but I'm happy to see the changes. I commend the minister. There has been numerous meetings that I've had with the chair of the Eastern Regional Service District, as well as the board, as well as the president, the current president, and I even had them here to the district. We had a meeting in Spaniards Bay several years ago with the Legion, and I put my cabin owners right in front of these officials. So I wanted to give them the opportunity one-on-one to communicate, and so this has been ongoing for me, and I'm happy to see these changes made. It's not a fair tax, as I've said, for the people who are not receiving the service, and it cannot be compared to live years.
Quick question before I go to the news. When's the election?
You know what? I was going to ask you the same thing.
I'm saying May, but hey, that's just me. Listen, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Okay, well, what I will say on that, though, whenever it's called, I'm ready to go right here in Harbour Grace, Port of Grace.
Oh, Patty will be ready to go, too, guaranteed. Thanks for this, Pam.
Thanks, Daryl.
Bye-bye.